Hey everyone, Combo here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video, and today we are going to talk about challenge events. Personally, I love events. They are a nice break from the player versus player component of the game, and if you are good at events, then you're gonna get some great items, including 4-star essential materials. I'm gonna go over a bunch of things today, different strategies I use during events, which items I use, which heroes I like to use for all three categories, rare, epic, and legendary. We're also gonna talk about how event scores are calculated and how you can maximize your scores. And then after, I'm gonna show you all of my challenge event attacks for rare, epic, and legendary for the event we just finished. I did edit the attacks to take out the majority of any stages. That did not affect my score, so that it shortened this very long video a little bit at least. I also put that portion of the video at 1.5 times speed, so it goes a little bit faster. You will also notice I replayed quite a few stages so that I could get to the tier levels I wanted for rewards. I placed good enough to get some darts for finishing at top 1000 in rare, a Damascus blade for finishing in top 500 in epic, and then for legendary, you need to finish top 100 to get any ascension materials. So I usually just go for top 1000 there. That way, that gives me some epic hero tokens and a bunch of other loot. But before we get into all that, if you do enjoy this video or find it helpful, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you can see my weekly war hits and strategy videos like this one. Alright, so first let's start off with how scores are calculated. First, there is the enemies defeated calculation. This is going to be dictated off of the stage you are playing on, and as you progress through the stages, the difficulty of enemies goes up, so your score is going to go up. So if you replay a stage, you're going to get the same score for the enemies defeated calculation. The second factor is the rare enemy bonus, which only happens if a rare enemy shows up in your battle. In this challenge event I'm going to go through today, it was that wooden chest that is locked for a couple turns before you can attack it. You cannot attack it directly while it is locked, but you can deal damage to it if the other enemies have the shared damage effect from like Costume Gunner, Wilbur, or other similar heroes. 5,000 points was what I scored on one of the stages that I had one of those rare enemies. I don't know if it changes based off of the level that you're playing at, or if it's like rare, epic, or legendary. It might change slightly, but there is a significant bonus that you're going to get. The third factor is the time bonus. This one is pretty obvious. The faster you finish each battle, the higher your bonus calculator will be. This does automatically increase each stage as you progress through the rare, epic, and legendary stages. So if you finish stage 1 of epic in 30 seconds and you finish stage 10 in epic in 30 seconds, you're going to get a significantly higher score in stage 10 because of the fact that the point values just go up automatically for each stage that you progress through. The fourth factor is the match bonus. I don't know if anyone really knows how this is factored, but I believe the consensus is that this is factored by taking the amount of tiles that you matched in a stage divided by the amount of turns that you took. So if you only take 5 turns in the course of playing a stage, but you totaled 100 tiles, then you would have averaged 20 tiles per turn. The higher the tile per turn, the higher your match bonus will be. This also increases with each stage. And the fifth factor is the health bonus. You want to try and have full health for all of your heroes at the end of each stage. The higher the health you all have, the higher your bonus will be. I didn't use any boosted health heroes this challenge event, but I believe I've tested this in the past, and you do not get extra health bonus if you have boosted health over your regular max health. If anyone knows that for certain, comment down below, and if I'm wrong on that, I will pin a comment with that correction. But like I said, pretty sure you do not get extra health bonus for having above your max health. All right, and now that we have talked about how the scores are calculated, now let's talk about which items you should be using and when. These are what I used during the rare stages. Typically, I start by giving 1 medium mana pot and 2 small ones to Costume Gunner, so he gives shared damage to all enemies in that first round. Then you want to try and create as many match combos and cascades as possible. I tried not to use any axes or arrows in that first round because that's where I want to try to get those match bonuses. Hopefully by the end of the first round, I have my special charge or most of the way there, And in the second round is when I would use the battle axes or axe attacks if I need to kill the enemies in the second round. And then in the third round of the stage, the boss battle, that's where I fire my specials and then use any extra battle items needed to kill the bosses, whether that's axe attacks or arrows if I have them left, or even giving mana potions to any of my attack 3 heroes. This strategy works well to make battles go quickly. In rare stages, typically you would want to try to finish in about 30 to 45 seconds to get a good time bonus. For the epic stages, the battle items don't really change too much for me. It's literally the same except subbing the bomb attacks for arrows. The strategy is the same with getting a shared damage hero to fire, whether that's Costume Gunner or Wilbur in that first round of each stage. And then in the second round, I would still use axe attacks and save bomb attacks for the boss battle in case if I need them. If I'm using my mono red team, then usually I do not need to use any extra items, even toward the end of like stage 9 and 10 of the epic tier. For legendary events, the items are going to change quite a bit here actually. This is what I would typically have set up with the tornadoes, the large mana pots, and then the dragon attacks and bomb attacks. I try not to use many tornadoes because they are costly to make. I use large mana pots to start, but those are also pretty costly from a food perspective. And I end up usually taking them out toward the end and just using medium and small mana pots like I do in the rare and epic stages. So you'll see me swap those out at some point. But it definitely is nice to have the option of using a tornado if you feel like you're stuck and are not going to get, some good match bonuses or cascades that are going to happen. All right, so those are the battle items I use. Now let's talk about heroes I like to use. For the rare stages, my best heroes are blue, green, and red. I will occasionally use yellow or purple heroes, but I personally don't have great event heroes in those colors. And by great event heroes, what I mean by that is you want fast speed if possible. Average is okay too, but you want attack 3 or attack all specials. Elemental defense down and regular defense down also are great when possible. You definitely want to have at least one of them though. And as far as specific heroes, first we're going to take a look at Costume Gunner. This is the druid version of him. He is crucial for events because of the shared damage and defense down. He is slow speed, but this is a hero you want to use your mana pots on during events. 1 medium and 2 small mana pots will get his special activated. You want to do this right at the start of the battle and then just start matching tiles that have high probability of cascades. Sticking with blues, as this is my personal strongest area for rares, Swan Maiden is very useful because of the 30% chance for your heroes to deal 240% damage to a random enemy after a special. This is very similar to Darkfeather special, but for a rare level hero. Definitely a very, very useful hero to have. Nordri is great for his elemental defense down, and he is an attack 3 hitter. In challenge events, you are only ever going to have a max of 3 enemies, so attack 3 hitters is where you are going to have the highest value typically. I like his costume version better because it deals 220% damage to the target and nearby enemies. His regular base version deals 245% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. The elemental defense down does last 1 turn longer on the regular version than the costume, which only lasts 3. But typically, once you get to that boss level, your goal is really to try to kill them with 1 round of specials. So the 1 less turn really shouldn't play that much of a factor. Yao is another attack 3 hitter that I have that has a decent attack level, so I do use him also. Moving on to green heroes that you'll see me using. Zarola is my favorite. I've actually seen people double limit break 3 or 4 of her because of how good she is for events. She has fast mana speed, has a very high attack at 893 when she is double limit broken, and her special is scaled based off of the enemies having less mana, which typically you would want to fire your attack specials at the beginning of the boss stage, so they're going to have no mana to begin with, obviously. So she's likely going to deal 300% damage to 3 enemies, which for a rare level hero at fast speed is very good. Plus, she has the special boost ether power, so she's going to get plus 30% damage from her special for 6 turns, and that reactivates each level of the stages that you're going to in those challenge events. Alessia is another decent hero who I do use frequently in events. Not as good as Zarola, but if you have her, then definitely use her. She is very good. She has a decent attack stat at 819. She's going to deal 250% damage to the target and nearby enemies, and she is also fast speed as well. She does have the attack up ether power, so she's going to get plus 20% attack for 6 turns at the start of each round of those stages also. Moving on to Reds, Buster is a monster. He is slow speed, so if you don't have his special maxed by the boss round, just give him a small mana pod or a medium one if you need to. I actually added master class emblems to him because he's that good, and he has 974 attack, which for a rare level hero, that is crazy in my opinion. Clearly, I went all attack on his talent path. He's an extremely hard hitter who is also going to make it so 3 enemies receive extra damage depending on how many red tiles are on the board when you fire his special, up to 40% extra damage. So that's definitely cool, and obviously he's going to deal 275% damage to the target and nearby enemies. Star Swift I like a lot. I actually maxed and double limit broke 2 of her. She has a very high attack stat and hits 3 for 265% damage at average speed. So she is definitely very useful. And she has that attack up ether power, so she's going to get that 20% attack for 6 turns at the start of each round of each stage. Some people don't bring a healer, but honestly, I usually do because typically you aren't going to need the extra attack special if you're using double limit broken heroes. You can use any healer really. I used Toon Beelith for most of the stages, but if you have Toon Hawkmoon, you can use her. I would say any average or fast speed healer would definitely be fine for you though. Most of the early stages I went 3-2 or 2-2-1 because if you go mono, the enemies actually almost die too quickly and you won't be able to get as many match bonuses unless cascades happen as the enemies die in the first couple rounds. Who I use obviously depends on which color reflects damage in each of those stages though. For epic stages, I use mostly red, and I will play mono red a lot, especially at the end. I do use blue heroes quite a bit also, so Costume Gunner will definitely get some playing time. But first, except when red reflects, Wilbur is the man. Again, if you don't have him, Costume Gunner will do just fine, except for when blue reflects damage. Allies sharing damage doesn't really matter much, but like Costume Gunner, Wilbur will make it so all enemies share damage and will get minus 44% defense for 4 turns. I have him single limit broken. You don't really need to double limit break a hero like this, in my opinion. And my favorite epic hero by far is the second costume of Colin. As you can see, I've actually got 2 max, 1 double limit broken and 1 single limit broken. He has almost 1200 attack. That's crazy for an epic level hero. He's going to attack 3 for 285% and give all enemies minus 54% defense against fire and will deal extra damage against nature. Definitely a really, really good hero. I've got all of the costume bonuses for him, obviously. And then this is what a single limit broken version of him looks like. Still really good at 1046 attack. I will fire him first and then the double limit broken one, so that way the one with the higher attack hits when the elemental defense down is already on. I use Toon Boltusk for the 40% attack up, and if I'm using a red mono team, I'll actually use the 4 that I just showed you with Buster also. So I would fire Boltusk and then Wilbur and then Buster, and then I would fire the single limit broken colon, and then the last one would be the double limit broken colon. There is one other red here I wanted to show you, Cillian, who is part of the Slayer family. He does get a bonus in the challenge event that I just participated in. I actually just maxed him and single limit broke him. I wanted to try him out because he gets that event bonus. Event heroes will bypass the reflected damage and get plus 20% attack. But even with the 20% attack, he is still lower than the single limit broken colon I showed you by quite a bit, in my opinion, and not as good as Buster either, honestly. I tried him out in a couple stages, but didn't really use him much. Other heroes you'll see me use are Bone Chill, who is fast speed and makes it so 3 enemies get minus 34% against special skills, and he's going to deal 240% damage to the target and nearby enemies. And he has the Destructive Core passive. With a fully charged Destructive Core, he's going to deal 180% damage to all enemies, so that's going to be in addition to his regular special skill damage. Toon Grim is another blue hero that I use in the epic levels. He has a very high attack stat at 1014, and he's going to attack 3. 2 of them is at minor damage though, so he does the 325% damage to the main target and then minor damage to nearby enemies. He's also going to deal extra damage against fire. Greg is another hero I like to use because of the mega minion that he starts out with. I love using heroes that start out with those smaller mega minions because the extra damage that they deal at the end of each turn is very useful for making those first couple rounds of each stage go quicker. His actual attack from his special isn't really going to do too much damage to the enemies, and the bleed that's going to happen from the mega minion is likely not going to be a factor because you're trying to finish those stages quickly. A yellow epic hero that can be very useful is Goldie. She's going to be very useful because of that high heal at 38% for all your allies, and all of your allies are going to get plus 100% attack growth for the rest of the stage. So for epic, I mainly went 4-1 with 4 blues and then Goldie as a healer, or I went mono with those 5 reds that I showed you all. For legendary, Darkfeather is a very useful hero because if you're using all of your specials at the end, you are going to get a lot of extra damage from the Darkfeather effect, where there is a 50% chance to deal 270% damage to a random enemy after any subsequent allied special skill is cast for 3 turns. So all your allies are going to have that possibility. I know some people will even combo like Guardian Hippo and Darkfeather. I don't have Guardian Hippo, but I know her stats are a little outdated, but she is another one of those where she's going to get extra damage when you fire multiple specials in a row. I have a lot of attack 3 legendary heroes I like to use. Costume Demetria with the elemental defense down is another one that I definitely like to use. She's going to deal 335% damage to the target and nearby enemies. So she has a high attack percentage to begin with, and then she's going to give minus 64% defense against dark for 4 turns. Acid Fire is another one that I like to use because of his high attack percentage, being at 355% damage to the target and nearby enemies. He's fast mana speed also, which is really helpful, and he has that Wither effect where he's going to give the target and nearby enemies minus 225 attack and defense. The defense being the more important one when you're trying to get the battle to go quickly. So I am fortunate to have 2 yellow Garrison Guard heroes with Shimmer Scale and Rosalind, so I used them often together. Again, I love having heroes that have those mega minions that they start with. It just makes those battles go that much quicker. Shimmer Scale is going to deal 300% damage to the target and nearby enemies, and again, he has that mega minion, which is also going to deal 300% attack every turn once he gets that full mega minion. The smaller one is going to start out with, I think, 100% attack, although when I use him and Rosalind together, those 2 mega minions will then have the bonus of having 120% attack, which isn't much, but it adds up. And for Rosalind, she's primarily just going to be a healer with that mega minion. She's going to recover 30% health for all allies. She's very useful for other things other than events, but as far as what I used her for in the event, it was really just that mega minion and then her as a healer. Definitely one of the best heroes in the game right now, though. Thura is another hero that I really like to use for events because she's fast speed, deals 355% to 3, and she's going to make it so that 3 enemies get an additional 80% extra damage from special skills. I did use Leonidas a little bit also. I used the elemental defense down version of him, of course. I don't have him limit broken, but he still was able to make an impact because of that elemental defense down that he gives. We're going to switch gears a little bit right now, and I want to show you a hero that you want to avoid, which you might not think about. I've actually made this mistake before in using Costume Marjarna, because you would think because of the fast mana speed, elemental defense down, high attack stat, that she would be really good. But because of her superior wizard talent class, she's actually going to remove the shared damage effect if you place that on your enemies, because shared damage is technically considered a buff in Empires and Puzzles. So whether you are attacking with regular red tiles or if you're using her special, then typically it's actually going to remove the shared damage effect if you use that from Wilbur. So I don't really use red heroes too much in the legendary. I've used a costume colon before with red heroes because Pepper Flame is very useful because of its attack growth. So I primarily used purple and yellow in this event. I used blue a couple times too. But Pepper Flame is great. Grimsteel is also really good if you have him because he's going to give 450 attack growth to all of your allies. Even if you can get him fire once or maybe twice by that last battle, that's going to make a huge difference with making those boss battles go that much quicker. If you aren't sure who to use next time when the challenge event comes back around, hit me up on the Line app. My contact information is in the details of this video. This is how I finished for the rare, epic, and legendary portions of this event though. And at this point, I am going to let you guys watch my battles. I am not going to give commentary throughout each of the battles since many of you may be skipping around depending on which level you're looking for. But that's going to do it for me in this video. I'm going to stop blabbing so you guys can watch my challenge event battles, and I will catch you guys next time.